go. Welcome everybody to the third episode of the Game Day Mindset. Just to keep everybody up to speed, this this podcast is where we dive into habits, mindset, and behind the scenes stories that fuel success in fitness, business, and life. I'm your host, Jarrett Simon. And before we jump in, just to remind everyone that what the show is all about. Right, the Game Day Mindset isn't just for athletes; it is for anyone showing up every day to be better than what they were yesterday. It's about preparation, pressure, progress, and how we push through the moments that matter most. Today's guest is a perfect way to kick things off. Jonathan Wells is a former NFL athlete, former star at The Ohio State University, and just excited to talk to him today about his background, where he's from, what he's been up to, and what's going on with him today. So, Jonathan, welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate it. It was good, my guy. Always good to see you.
Yeah, always good to see you as well. So, I'll jump in for those folks that maybe don't know you. You grew up in New Orleans, went to school at Ohio State, played for the Houston Texans. What else in your background kind of shaped your mindset for being ready to, I'm going to say being ready to play professional football for 9 to 10 years because Ohio State is basically a professional football program. But what in your background kind of shaped you to be able to handle the rigors of that?
Honestly, man, I think it was probably just tragedy early. You know what I mean? I went
Mm-hmm.
through a tragic situation. When I was 7 years old, losing a brother in my home. He was
Wow.
12. He was 12 years old. And that I want to say I was like 7 years old, and that was the same year that I actually got involved into sports as well. So
Okay.
once that happened, I kind of like just dove my whole life into sports. I played everything you can imagine from running track, baseball, basketball, football, weightlifting team, any kind of team that was to be a part of. I was pretty much doing it all the way until I graduated high school. So, I always trying to tell people, man, like sports saved my life. I kind of think that because it gave me something else to look forward to after going through such a tragic event as a kid. You know what I mean? So I always had like 100 brothers on the football team, 15 brothers
Yep.
on the basketball team. So I kind of got to make up what I was looking. I was the only child after that, besides having
Mm-hmm.
a stepsister that I didn't grow up close to, you know what I'm saying? So I was the only
Mm-hmm.
child after that. So those guys became my brothers and football became, my love.
Wow, that's real, and that's one of the things we all try to teach our kids when we put them in sports is this is a family. If you treat this as a family, you guys can excel and do great things together. So that's very powerful right there,
Yeah.
and sports have a way of doing that for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
what part of New Orleans are you from?
I grew up, I bounced around a little bit, but I ended up growing up in Shrewsbury, Louisiana, which is about 7 minute, 8 minute drive to the Superdome.
Okay.
It's literally right on the line of Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish. So
Mm-hmm.
I go 30 seconds, I'm in Orleans, but I technically live in Jefferson Parish, whatever. But it's called Shrewsbury. So Ed Reed is from there, the Hall of Fame safety. I played playground ball with him, 7 years old, all the way to 10, 12 years old. So we've had some great Dante Jackson, who's still in the NFL right now, cornerback from LSU. So we've had some guys come out of Shrewsbury and go into the league and do some good things.
Now, I went to school in New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans 1 million times. I've never heard of Shrewsbury. I'll
What
give you
school you
that.
been? What school did you go to in New Orleans?
I went to Tulane.
Bro, that went over my head. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Okay. Yeah,
Hell
yeah. I
no.
was I was at Tulane.
Oh, wow.
Ro-
Okay. Oh
roll,
yeah,
wave,
yeah.
roll, baby. Yeah.
Shrewsbury. If you go straight down Jefferson Highway, bro, you literally be at Tulane in like 5 minutes from my house. It's literally right
Wow.
there, right
Okay.
off of Jefferson Highway. It's right there.
I'll actually be in New Orleans in at the end of this month, where
Okay.
one of our classmates, her and her husband met while we were all in school. So they're doing this reunion for for everybody who was around back then 30 years ago. So
Got
that's
it.
gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So I can throw a rock and hit Holly Grove. I'm 2 minutes from Holly Grove.
Okay. All right. All right. Right there in the thick of it. I hear it.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Well, good. So transitioning to kind of after football. You and I
Hmm.
had a conversation recently, and you talked about you talked about weight, and we were talking about you said you always had a weight problem. You always had an issue, even though you were an elite athlete. You always wanted to lose 5, 10 pounds. Even as a little kid, you were doing things. How did kind of a two-part question? How did that affect you growing up? And then as we see a lot of athletes, once they get out of
Mm.
the regimen of you're going to be training this day, you're going to be training that day, you got this off-season training, and now that regimen's gone. How did that affect you when the days when you hung up the cleats and that was over?
It hurt me a lot. And, to be quite honest, my NFL career didn't end the way that I had foreseen it. It kind of ended abruptly, if you want to be honest. And when I left the NFL, I was mad at the world. I was mad at the NFL. You couldn't talk to me about NFL. I didn't watch an NFL game for at least 10 to 12 years. None of them.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't watch the
Mm-hmm.
Texans, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I always watched was my college, Ohio State, and my high school, John Curtis. But NFL, I went a decade. I didn't even want to talk about it. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to lift weights. I literally left hating the game.
Wow.
But as I matured and started to look back on my life, some of my decisions in my life, I realized that the NFL didn't do nothing to me. Those were my decisions. You know what I'm saying? If I made
Yeah.
one or two different decisions, I could have had my 8 or 9 year career like I should have. But you make one or two wrong decisions, man, your life can go in a whole nother direction. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what happened to me. I worked my ass off, all the way for all those years to actually get my payday, to get my bag. But one or two bad decisions, man, I ended up missing my real bag. So that haunted me for years. So I gained a bunch of weight after football. Now, mind you, I was a big running back anyway. When I ended up at the Texans, I played at 245, 250 my last year playing running back.
Wow.
So I was a big boy anyway.
Yeah.
So you put on 20, 30 pounds after that, you at 280. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always have to, watch that weight. And I did a terrible job at it for over a decade, but I finally got myself together. My max weight was probably got up to like 295. You know what I'm saying? And then once COVID hit, I was still living in Ohio. That kind of scared me back into action. And I started walking. I started doing hot yoga 6 to 7 days a week. And I ended up dropping 40 pounds before I moved back to Texas. You know what I'm saying? So I came back at a decent, 260, a decent weight for me. But the ultimate goal is 240, 235. And I haven't been there since 2010. So this is a daily struggle for me. I don't like getting up, going to the gym. I don't like it. And I guess maybe because I did it my whole
Did it
life
so long.
and it was a profession. That's not my thing. I'm more excited to get up and go to hot yoga than I am to go lift weights and go to the gym. But thankfully, I met you and Wes, and now I'm back in the gym, 2 days a week, at least trying to, put some weights in the air. But I'm not in there trying to throw the gym around and all that, man. I'm trying to lose body fat, get healthy, and go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah. I had Wes on the other day,
Okay,
and
good.
Wes, there's a question I'll ask you at the end. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but he mentioned his answer to that question was attitude of gratitude. So something you just said that anybody listening to this, especially younger folks, what I want my kids to hear is, be grateful for things you have,
Mm,
and don't let yourself get in your own way, right?
mm.
And kind of throw you off course sometimes. So that's awesome. So all right, so now you're back. You're trying to get the weight back in order, and you keep telling me I need to go to these hot yoga classes with you 3 days a week. I don't. That's a lot, bro.
Nah,
but
it's not. Now if you want to heal all them ailments you keep complaining about, it's
I
not.
know I got a
It's
bad
worth
back.
it.
All right, I'm going. I'm going
All right.
with you. We're
Okay.
gonna do this. All right. So now that you met me, you got the game day shirt on. You're part of the family a little bit. How has the experience been? How has it impacted your journey so far? We both right have work to do
Yeah.
in our weight journey. So how has it impacted you so far? How you feel? What's going on?
Honestly, man, it's been amazing. You, yourself, your staff, everybody's treated me, with nothing but the best respect. Everybody's knowledgeable. All of the doctors that you have in your office are very knowledgeable. Now, I did run into a problem. We can talk about that. I was taking the terzepatide for about 3 weeks. I ended up getting to my third shot, And I gotta be honest, man, that shit was amazing. I couldn't believe, like, I had zero cravings. I couldn't look at sugar. I could barely look at food. Like it happened overnight after about a week, and I just started dropping and dropping and dropping. It was working so well. I brought my mother in to see you guys,
Yep.
and then when the doctor started talking to my mother about our health history in our family, they realized that we had too much stuff going on with cancer and those stuff like that. So I had to get off the tirzepatide, and I am disappointed because I would be down at least another 25 pounds right now if I stayed on that stuff. That shit is a miracle drug for real.
Yep.
But so now I'm going to have to do it the good old homegrown natural way. I was trying to cheat.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. But
Yep.
we're going to get it done regardless, man. But I'm getting the testosterone. I just retested my testosterone levels yesterday. I started at like 240 something, and now
Yep.
I'm up to like 1,000.
Yep.
So I'm definitely feeling better with my energy. I'm feeling better with my sex drive for sure. So it's definitely been working, man. So I definitely appreciate you guys.
Well, and let's we're not gonna say you were trying to cheat. We're gonna say you were using
I was trying to cheat.
science. we're using science to accelerate the process. There we go. That's
Facts.
all we're
Okay.
doing. That's all we're
Okay.
doing. And then you're exactly right with the testosterone. It's some of the things we always say around. I just had this conversation with somebody else about this chicken or egg, right? If you don't have the energy, or if you don't do something, if you don't work out, you don't get out and walk or just do something, your body won't create the activity and the energy in it to do anything. Well, if I don't have the energy to do it, then I'll never do it. You just go through this circle mindset. So getting your testosterone up gives you the energy to go and do the things that you want to do and start attacking those weight issues. So
Hmm.
glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Um, what else? What else is going on with you? What else? What other businesses and other hobbies and things that you're working on that you want to let the public know about? Any places you're going to be where we can reach out and talk to you? Just wanted to
Um,
give you that opportunity to talk about those
I'm
things.
kind of moving behind the scenes right now, man. I'm working on a couple of things. But definitely, always got to shout out my wife. She has an amazing company that's for hospitality for hotels and resorts all around the country, doing amazing with that dynamic consulting group. So we definitely we doing our thing with that. I'm working on some things as far as yoga. I'm definitely looking for potentially opening a yoga studio,
Okay.
high end yoga studio here in Houston and in Columbia soon. So I got some things coming, but I'm behind the scenes right now, man, just chilling.
Okay. All right. I want to touch on that right now when it popped into my head. Okay. So just back to the health and the things like that. So you struggle with this for your whole life, and you're dealing with it. Just it's a daily thing. What advice do you give others that may be going through something similar, when it comes to health, comes to weight loss, comes to just there? It goes bigger than beyond just hey, I'm overweight. It's the mindset, and what we just said, right? Using science to help benefit you. Don't be afraid to do that. Just what are some things that you would tell somebody that's struggling in that area?
Man, it's a tough journey. You know what I'm saying? Especially once you allow yourself to get overweight, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, man. It's a tough struggle. But the beautiful thing is it can be done. Like I said, if you have to get around, like I said, I'm being inspired by guys like Jarrett and Wes. Like I said, I don't want to go to the gym, but when they text me in the morning, hey Jay, to 2:30, 2 o'clock, then I have an accountability partner where I know I got to get out there, get up and show up. So get you some accountability partners. Look into doing some hot yoga. I'm a component of hot yoga because it's great for your joints. There's no wear and tear on your joints. You're literally going to detox your whole body. You're going to detox all of your internal organs, your kidney, your heart, your lungs. You're literally going to be focusing on these things through different postures to where you can get that fresh blood and that fresh oxygen and start to heal your body from the inside out. That's why I'm a huge component of it. It's hard. The hot yoga is hard. It's not like you going in there sitting there humming. It's 105 degrees. It can be 60, 75, or 90-minute classes. The 90-minute is crazy.
And
But
there's no puppies or goats walking on your back. We're not talking
no,
about
no,
that.
no, no,
We're
none of
talking
that,
about
none of
working.
that. It's
Yeah,
you in that mirror, and that's what I love about it. You have to come with you in that mirror. When you see yourself in that mirror, you start to see things that you don't like. You're gonna work harder. You're gonna eat
there you
better.
go.
But you have to confront yourself, and that's why I love that hot yoga. They have mirrors all around there, so you actually can see yourself as you continue to improve, as your postures get stronger, and as the fat starts to melt off your body. So I'm a huge guy for hot yoga, man, and then getting with guys like yourself, getting your testosterone checked. And like I said, if you don't have health issues, I'm telling you right now, terzepatide, go get on it. If you need to lose 40, 50 pounds, don't cheat yourself. Get on it.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, yeah. Facts. Very, very, very true. I love it. I love it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That hot yoga is it's a trip. It is a workout, man. It is a workout. I'd
Yeah.
love to see you open one. If you open one, I'll be there
Oh, it's
all the
coming.
time.
It's coming. It's not even. It's coming. Trust me. Soon. It's coming.
Soon. Okay. All
It's
right. I
coming.
love
I'm
that.
where
I
I'm where
love
I'm,
that.
I'm, I'm putting that into play. Gotta have it.
Yeah, and you know, and the other part I would add to what you're saying about people struggling is don't wait, right? I two things, right? Any forward progress is still forward progress,
Mm-hmm.
if it's slow. Look, I have this thing when I gain weight too. I think to myself, wow, I should be able to knock this off in a week, right? Well, I didn't gain the weight in a week. Why would I be able to get
Correct.
rid of it in a week, right? It
Correct.
gained over the last 6 months when I wasn't paying attention to things. So
Yep.
it takes time for that to happen. So
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely, man.
okay,
So listen, it's gonna hurt either way, and that's another thing I would. It's gonna hurt either way. It's gonna hurt you to get in shape and go through that, that initial phase where you got to get lose that initial weight, or it's gonna hurt later on, man. When you may be laid up in that hospital bed, or maybe dead. Who knows? So my whole thing right now, man, is about longevity and
hmm
trying. I'm 45 years old, so I know I don't have, we on the other side of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I'm trying to get my mind right, and it's taking a while, to get my mind right and actually lock back in and click back into where I'm consistent every day with this thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a challenge, but wake up every day, keep pushing yourself, and listen. If you fall off, get back on the wagon. You know what I'm saying? Don't start feeling bad for yourself. That's another thing. You get in that depression, start
Right.
feeling bad because you missed it. You was doing so good and then you missed. Don't matter, man. Just get back on that thing and get right back into your routine, and it'll work out over time.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna do something different with you. I wanna do a lightning round questions with you and just see what pops into your head. Okay. All right. So let's just go real quick. This might, I don't know, maybe it's an easy question. Your favorite Ohio State University player
Player,
besides yourself? Yeah,
Eddie
player.
George.
Eddie George. EG. All right. I know Eddie George. He
That's why I
came.
went. That's why I went to Ohio State.
Yeah, he was right before you, right?
3 years, yeah.
3 years before. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go food. Favorite restaurant in Houston.
Favorite restaurant in Houston, Papa Do's.
Favorite restaurant in New Orleans.
Honestly, I don't have one.
You just eat at home.
My mom, my mother,
Yeah.
yeah,
Favorite
my
restaurant
mother.
is there one in Columbia?
Oh yeah, what's the rooftop? I think it's Cielo 7. It's a rooftop joint in Cartagena. Cielo 7, I want to say. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I had my
Oh,
45th. Well, one of my events was there for my 45th last year.
okay. All right. What is your go-to workout song?
Workout song?
We
I'm
can say
normally doing I'm normally doing yoga, so there's no music
there's no
involved.
music. Okay,
Yeah.
no music. All
But
right.
right now, I'm heavy on the Kevin Gates right now in the gym. When we work out, I like
Yeah.
Kevin Gates.
Okay. All right. Where do you feel like most? Where do you feel? This might be a easy question, but what place makes you feel most like home at this point? New Orleans, Cartagena, or Houston?
Yeah, that's a great question, dog. I have equal love for all three of them. They all three represent something different. Obviously, New Orleans raised me, Houston paid me, and Columbia, that's just a new life for me over there. You know what I'm saying? So I love it over there, and it's amazing over there. So I love all three of them. equally.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's some good answers. I'll stop there. I'll stop there. But that's some good stuff. I like it.
Hmm.
Um, well, with that in mind, anything else? Anything else you want to cover? I don't want to keep you all
Nah, I'm
day.
sure we'll do this again
Oh,
soon. You know what I
we'll
mean?
definitely do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah, we'll do it
Definitely
again
do it again.
as I get more progress in my journey. We'll tap back in.
So before, but let me jump off since we will do this again. Let's just keep a measuring stick here. So your testosterone went from in the two
242 to like 1,000.
to 1,000, and your weight has gone from where to where? I know the scale is not the best indicator,
Well,
but
like I said, I missed, last week I didn't do anything. Then I
okay.
hurt my back. So I haven't done anything this week. I hurt my back when I did work out Friday.
Well,
So,
when you started with us, we measured you at what? That was 3 months ago.
I can't remember. I would have to look at it. Probably like 285. I'm
Okay.
probably about 272 right now. And like I
Okay.
said, I haven't done nothing in almost 2 weeks because
Yeah.
I had people come in town and all. And once again, I'm not disciplined. When people come in town, I still should get my work in. When I travel, I still should get my work in. These are things that I'm still working on myself mentally. Like
Yeah.
there's no excuse. You still got to get the work, and we know this, but we don't do it. So
Well,
I'm in the fight with y'all. That's all I can tell you.
well, look, like I just said, progress is still progress, right? We can't beat ourselves up because we
Well,
haven't had what we
I've
can.
lost about 20 pounds since we started.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you
I
had
mean,
gotten up.
I initially started working out before I got with y'all
Yeah.
doing yoga for like a month
Yeah.
and I had already lost a little weight then. But
Hmm.
since I started getting back right, I lost about 20, 25 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I thought that was the number you had told me a few weeks ago. So,
yeah.
okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep track. We'll keep looking and keep moving forward. So here's a question I tend to ask everybody, or I will ask every guest before we leave, which is simply when times get tough, what do you tell yourself to keep that game day mindset?
When times get tough, hey, the work ain't gonna do itself. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody coming to save you. So at the end of the day, it's gonna get tough either way. You still got to get out the bed and go get it done and make things happen, man. You know what I'm saying? So nobody coming to save us, and hopefully you have a good partner like I do. We put our heads together and we attack this thing as a couple, as a unit, and we'll get where we're going as soon as possible, or when it's meant to be, should I say?
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate you, Jonathan. I appreciate you, Jay Wells. I need to stop calling you Jonathan. I need to Jay Wells, but
It's
my
all
younger
good.
brother's Jonathan, so it flows easily out my head.
Y'all
Um,
don't have a nickname for him?
JT, just like we call you Jay Wells, and JW. Yeah. So
Got it.
all right, so
Good.
I appreciate your time, man, and thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for being a part of this launch we're on. We're still only on episode 3. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone who's building something of their own. JW, where can people find you? And what do you want to what socials do you want to shout out there?
Yeah, on Instagram, J Wells Media Group, same way you spell my last name, and then on Facebook, I'm very active on Facebook. So just Jonathan Wells, my regular name.
Okay, all right. I think that's it. This is just the
Good to
beginning.
go.
And remember, every day is game day, folks. Appreciate it. JW, thank you.
Appreciate you both.